Hey guys, welcome back to the beginner series. And today we're going to be going over the anatomy of a candlestick. So before we even go over what candlesticks are, we need to understand what time frames are. So, so basically a time frame, so like the 5 minute or the 1 minute time frame, is just showing you that one candlestick represents what price did in that one increment of time. So a 5 minute chart shows you that it shows you what price did in you know in one 5 minute increment of time. So a candlestick on a 5 minute chart is going to show you what price did in a 5 minute increment of time. So what price did in a 5 minute increment of time. And then similarly on a 15-minute chart, that's just showing you what price did in a 15-minute increment of time, and so on and so forth. So 5 minute, and then a daily chart or a 1 day chart is going to show you what price did or what price did in a 1 day increment of time. So now that we get that out of the way, let's go over the two types of candlesticks and look at the four different data points that we look at. So let me clear away this drawing real quick. All right, so on a candlestick, for a basic understanding, so here's our basic understanding. There's going to be three different data points that we look at on those candles. So we look at the high, the low, and the body of the candles. So there's two types of candles, and then those are bullish candles. And then we have a bearish candle. All right, so typically a bullish candle is going to be denoted with a green color. And then we have something like this. And then a bearish candle is going to look something like this. And it's typically going to be denoted with a red color. On my charts, a bearish candle is going to be denoted with a black color. But typically, the universal color code for bullish and bearish candles is green and red. So that's why I'm using that in my example today. But let's identify these data points on these candles right here. So here is that high, here is that low, here is the body, and then this is that bullish candle, and then here's the bearish candle. So here's that high, here is that low, and then here is the body. So remember, the high is the highest point that price reaches in that increment of time. And then that low is the lowest point that price reaches in that increment of time. And then we have this body. So let's just say that for the sake of this example, these candles appear on a 1 minute chart. So on a 1 minute time frame, the highest point that price reached in the past 1 minute was here. And then the lowest point that price reached was right here. And then similarly, on this bullish candle, the highest point that price reached was here, and the lowest point that price reached would have been right there. So let's go lower, and then let's build on that understanding that we have so far. So when we build on that understanding, we're building on what we already know about the body of the candle. All right, so in reference to the body of the candle, there's 2 points that are important to us. So there is the open, and then there is the low, or sorry, there is the close. This should be close. All right, so the open and the close. So let's take a look at a bullish candle first. All right, so here's a bullish candle. All right, so on a bullish candle, this bottom part of that body is going to be the open, and then the top part of that body right here is going to be the close. And then we already know that this is that low, and we know that this is the high. And then on a bearish candle, let me just draw that in. So this is a bearish candle. And then we know that this part right here is the open, and this part right here is the close. This is that low, and this is that high. Now, you might be wondering, why is the open higher than the close on a bearish candle? And why is the close higher than the open on a bullish candle? And the explanation for that is quite simple. So if we're bullish, that means that price is going up. And then if we're bearish, that means that price is going down. So this is where we open on a bullish candle, then we should be going up and then closing higher, right? So we open here, and then we close somewhere up here because we're bullish, right? So price is going up. So that's why the open is here and the close is higher. All right, so let's build on that understanding for the bearish candle. So on the bearish candle, we would open around here and then we close lower, right? So we open here and then price is going down. So it closes somewhere around here. And that's the reason why the open is higher on here and the close is lower here versus the open being lower on here and then the close being higher on a bullish candle. So this is pretty much the whole anatomy of a candle. But now let's go over to the charts and actually take a look at what it looks like when the candles are actually forming. So I'll pull up my trading view and I'll meet you guys over there. All right, so I have my trading view chart up right now. So one thing to remember for this is that it is Saturday while I'm recording this. So there's not going to be much volatility in the markets. So these candles necessarily aren't going to be super clean, but we can still use them for study purposes. So let's take a look at this candle right here. So I'm keying on this one right here. So we can see that this is a bearish candle. So this is the close, or sorry, this is the open, right? Because it's bearish. So we open here. This is the close. And then this is that high. And then this is that low. And then if you guys can see right here, this is a 1 minute chart. So each candle represents what price did within the span of 1 minute. So right here, we have a new candle that just formed. And we can see it's a black candle. So that means that it's a bearish candle. So it opens up here. And then right now, it's going lower right now. So let's see what's happening while it's forming. And then this candle has around 30 more seconds during its lifespan. So let's just carefully study it. All right, so right here, we see that low, right? So that's that lowest point that it reached during its lifespan. And then it has around 10 more seconds. All right, so that candle is done. So we can see that the open and the high were at the same exact spot. So the open and the high were the same. And then this is where price closed off. Now, one more thing that I want to point out is that notice how the same place that we close is the exact same spot where the next candle opens, right? So we close here and then we open here. So this understanding will help us when we go over what a volume imbalance is. So don't worry about that too much right now, but just know that, this idea of opening where the last candle closed is important, but we'll build on that later on as we get better at our understanding of price action. So let's study this candle right here. So right now, it opens here, right? And then the highest point that it reached was right here. And then it's looking like it'll close right here, right? So that is that close of that candle. And then the open was also the lowest part of that candle. So the open is the same as the low. Now, typically we don't necessarily see this that often, where the open is the same as the low and the close is the same as the high, but it is Saturday, so we don't have a whole lot of volatility, as I mentioned. So that's why we're seeing this type of price action. But let's take a look at two more examples and then we'll close off this video and I'll let you guys go study. All right, so on this candle, we see that we open right here. All right, so that is that open, and then it's still going higher. All right, so around 10 more seconds. All right, so this candle, it closes here, and then the close is the same place where, it's the high, and then the open was the same as the low on this candle. And then on this one, we can see that this is the high, or sorry, this is the close, and the close lines up with the open of this candle right here. All right, so opens right there. Here's that low, and then now price is going up. All right, so around 15 more seconds for this candle. All right, and then we can see that this is the high, and the high is also the place that we close at, and then that next candle forms right here. So that's that open, and then that's that close. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video, guys. So be sure to always go back into your charts and study everything that I showed you here. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, but I'll talk to you guys in that next video. Cheers.